Squad. And Reckless. You know what I'm saying? MC Doc, baby. We came to do this. You heard? All right, y'all. What's poppin', man? It's your boy. We back with another reaction, man. This is Wednesday, man. Hump day. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Hey, we finna get it in right now, man, because like this, talk about some quick news. And this news right here is basically like, okay, there's a lot of y'all voted Trump in, you feel me, into this presidency or whatever, you know, feeling that he gonna really do what he said he was gonna do. Now, with the border, I agree. With the illegal immigrants, hey, y'all, I agree. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that he's doing that, you know, that makes sense. You know what I mean? For illegal people to come over here, take our jobs, kill our people, you know, whatever they do. You know what I'm saying? Because we do that amongst ourselves. We don't need other people coming in doing it. You feel me? But check this out, though. Now, with these tariffs that he's trying to throw on all these other countries, you know what I'm saying, can hinder our living just as well. So I just want to express to y'all that it's like y'all may agree with what he's doing, but then when it comes to like, all right, like with Canada, with this video, I'm going to let them explain it more. But just to give y'all a real quick version of it. All right, you partner with these different countries that allow different goods to come into your city or your country. You know what I'm saying? You trying to stop and control and make them pay and do more or whatever, but you're getting stuff from their country. So to make a long story short, it's like this. The Canada president or whatever, Canadian president or whatever, he basically like, all right, throw the tariffs on us. Do what you trying to do. I'm going to shut some electricity off over there. You know what I'm saying? Because we got electricity that run through there. I mean, they letting us borrow it, in other words. You know what I mean? But I'm going to let the video explain it, man, because I don't want to get the story twisted. But it's like, man, y'all voted him in, and it's like he mean a little good, but he doing a lot of bad, though. So we're going to let y'all see this video, man. Coolest dude on YouTube, man. Let's get into it, dog.
We have breaking news from the White House press briefing room about conversations that have been had with the big three automakers during the ongoing trade war with Canada and Mexico. The question you'll hear is from our own Gabe Gutierrez.
We spoke with the big three auto dealers. We are going to give a 1-month exemption on any autos coming through USMCA. Reciprocal tariffs will still go into effect on April 2nd. But at the request of the companies associated with USMCA, the president is giving them an exemption for 1 month so they are not at an economic disadvantage. So the three companies that he spoke to are Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors. They requested the call, they made the ask, and the president is happy to do it. It's a 1-month exemption.
And the president just posted on social media that...
Well, let's bring in NBC News senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell. So I don't know, because I'm not in the briefing room and neither are you, but what do we know about the specifics of this, or do we know any specifics?
All right, what it is basically giving them a month. You know what I'm saying? You ain't doing it immediately. You giving them a month. But then when April come or whatever, you still putting them on there. Then when you do that, that means that the presidents and all the other presidents and leaders, where they at, got to stop stuff from coming here. That's when it's going to get bad.
We don't know more than what Caroline Levitt, the press secretary, unveiled in that moment. She said that was a message directly from the president, so she was prepared to address it if a question came up, and it did from our colleague Gabe Gutierrez. What's implicit in this is that President Trump is willing to have ongoing conversations after he imposed these tariffs and to make changes. And as she said, giving a 1-month extension would mean these American car companies would not be at a disadvantage. So clearly, having the tariffs can put them at a disadvantage. So it's interesting to see that the White House is reacting this quickly to it. Part of what's going on here is, of course, in the first term of President Trump, the USMCA was the trade agreement between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. It was sort of the retooled NAFTA. And these car companies, as a part of that, there is a lot in the supply chain of American-made companies where parts of what are needed to assemble the vehicles are made in Canada and Mexico, even though they're American cars. And so having this additional time means there would not be a tariff on those elements of what needs to be done to put a car together and get it to market. But again, it implies pretty plainly that President Trump recognizes that having these tariffs does put a burden on these American companies, and by extension, that would go to consumers. So he's giving this 1 month reprieve. We'll see how much more negotiating he may be willing to do. She was careful to point out the meeting was at the request, the conversation was at the request of the auto companies. Of course,
tariffs now have the U.S. locked in a growing trade war as Canada, Mexico, and China hit back against President Trump's tariffs. Canada's prime minister is promising to keep new tariffs in place until the U.S. stops its 25% charge on all Canadian goods. And the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, joins me now with more reaction to those tariffs. Premier Ford, thank you for coming on. I know yesterday you ordered stores to take American liquor and beer off your shelves, and you said you'll cancel Ontario's contract with Elon Musk's Starlink as well. Why did you take those immediate actions, and what impact did you expect them to have on the American economy?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on, Diane. And I always start off with saying Canadians love Americans and they love the U.S. It's unfortunate, one person. It's not the people of America. It's not the elected officials. It's one person that's caused this issue, and that was President Trump. And you know, we have to retaliate as much as we don't want to our closest friends and allies, and there's no reason to. But Ontario is the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world, the largest customer to 35 states and 3,600 products, and we thought that would be appropriate as President Trump is trying to destroy businesses here in Ontario and the supply chains between the U.S. and Canada. There's no closer allies in the entire world. You know, let's focus on China. Let's not focus on your friends and allies like Canada. So that's what we've done. We've done a few other items. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to put more alcohol on the shelves. I want to give you more electricity. I want to do everything I can to continue having a great relationship with our closest friends that we absolutely love.
I want to talk more about electricity because energy from Ontario powers 1.5 million American homes and businesses.
Pay attention.
In parts of New York, Minnesota, Michigan. You say you're ready to add 25% surcharges to that energy or even cut the power off completely. So when are you planning to do that, and what would you need to hear from U.S. officials to avoid those actions?
Well, what we'd like to hear from the U.S. officials, or basically the Trump administration, that we aren't going to see the tariffs. If you take off the energy, the oil, that we ship down 4.3 million barrels and keeps your economy going, because if you didn't have that, a gallon of gas would go up over $1. Take that to the side. The U.S. has a $55 billion surplus when it comes to manufacturing and services, which I'm fine with. You know, we just want a great trading relationship. And as for the electricity, we do power just Ontario alone, not to mention what Quebec powers in British Columbia and Manitoba. We send a tremendous amount of electricity to the U.S. I want to send more electricity to support our great friends. But when the president starts attacking our country and attacking Ontario unprovoked, we look at the U.S. as our family. It's like a family member. It's like we're the little brother, little sister, and it's been going on for 200 years, an incredible relationship. So he caught everyone off guard to be.
And y'all voted for him. That's what I'm saying, though. See, y'all didn't think about that part of voting for him. Everybody just wanted to do it. A lot of people did it for just straight racist reasons, straight up, though. Feel that they going to be more empowered or something. That real talk, though. We know. We all been talking amongst ourselves, too, and it ain't got to be online. But we understand and we know. And we locking in. I'm just saying. But look, man, hey, y'all messing up. Y'all voted for that.
Very frank. And now we have to protect our country against a great ally. We share so much in common and values. I want to build an AMCAN fortress against the China and other people that want to come after both our countries. That's what I want to do.
Joining us now to talk more about these new tariffs on Canada and the retaliatory response is Jagmeet Singh. He's a member of the Canadian Parliament. He's the leader of the New Democratic Party and is also running for Prime Minister.
To Americans listening, sadly, what Donald is doing is attacking you. It's going to mean, as you've outlined, it's going to mean higher costs for the things that you need: food, for your daily necessities, clothing, for vehicles. The steel and aluminum that we produce in Canada is mostly used by American companies. So the tariff that Donald Trump has imposed is going to mean that those businesses have to pay more, obviously. And that means that American people are going to pay more.
You're running for Prime Minister, as I mentioned. You are proposing uninviting Trump, so uninviting America from the G7 summit hosted by Canada this summer. I've heard your reason for why you personally find him to be a detestable individual, but why do you think that this is a strategically sound idea when it comes to geopolitics?
What I've learned from seeing Donald Trump and the way that he comports himself, the way he acts, is that he is acting much like a bully. And bullies only understand strength. It doesn't make sense. The premise of G7 is to have a summit with 7 nations. The premise of that is, the starting point is that we all believe that we're all nations that are working towards some common goals. Well, as a starting point, we are the host of this, and we have Donald Trump, who does not believe that we should be a country. That is a prerequisite to having meetings where we talk about what we want to do together. I think we have to send a strong message. That is something that we reject. And instead, we use this summit as an opportunity for the other nations to talk about how we resist some of the very dangerous things that Donald Trump is proposing. The fact that in his topsy-turvy world, someone who is an actual dictator, who is threatening the lives of people, who is an aggressor, Vladimir Putin, is Donald Trump's friend. And the resistor, the hero of the story, President Zelensky, is being painted as a villain by Donald Trump. That is completely the opposite of the truth and the opposite of reality. Given all of that context, I think more than ever, the G7 summit should be about how we resist the dangerous things that Donald Trump's proposing. I grew up on a border town, which people lived on one side of the border, worked on the other, flowed back and forth. We were good neighbors, and Donald Trump has picked a fight with us that we did not want. So now we are forced to be in this position where we've got to defend ourselves, we've got to look for a different way to build our economy, and we're going to do that.
Would you want to aim for?
Well, it is great to be with you, Jen, and I am running to be the next leader of the Liberal Party and the next Prime Minister of Canada, because right now we Canadians have to stand up and fight for our country. If the tariffs are imposed, as Prime Minister, I will fight back with dollar for dollar retaliatory tariffs, and our retaliation is going to be surgically targeted to create the maximum pressure on the White House to stop what the Wall Street Journal has described quite rightly as the dumbest trade war in history. An example of a measure that I will put in place as Prime Minister is 100% tariffs on Teslas. I think that should get some attention in the White House. And, you know, Jen, I think people, Americans, you know, I don't think you think about Canada all that much. But I think when you do think about Canada, you might think, oh, they're smaller than us. Is this really something I should be worried about? Well, the stock market is worried. Shares have gone down, and this has been a terrible year for U.S. stocks already because of these tariff threats. And the reality is, you guys need us. We are your largest market by far. The U.S. sells more to Canada than to China, Japan, the UK, and France combined. So we do have leverage. And as Prime Minister, I will use it. And not because I want to. I mean, the irony about this, the stupidity about this is right now we have a balanced and mutually beneficial relationship. There is a win-win here. There is an exit ramp. But Americans need to know that if you hit Canada, we will hit back, and we will be sure that our retaliation hurts.
I think Americans are very concerned right now about these tariffs that are about to go into place and could impact their bottom line and their cost of goods. Let me ask you this. You just mentioned Elon Musk. I think everybody in this country is learning a lot about his influence, which is unwieldy and over the top, just to say a few words. You mentioned 100% tariffs on Teslas to hit Elon Musk. He owns a number of other companies. Obviously, there's Starlink. Would you ever consider canceling Canada's contracts with Starlink, for example?
Okay, see, all right, it's getting deep. So therefore, if y'all paying attention, now you understand what's about to go down. So when somebody else don't got so much and y'all trying to ball and outdo somebody, it's gonna be way more of that. And it's gonna just get bad. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, people gotta watch themselves a little bit more now. Because a lot of people don't got what other people got. And if prices go up higher and people don't got already, it's going to get terrible. That's all I got to say. So y'all keep a lookout for that. Just don't hop my gate. I promise you. That's all. Please don't.
Absolutely. And Canadian premiers have already said that they would do that. I think you made a really important point a minute ago, Jen, which is right now, this is maybe abstract for Americans.
Guys, Canada is trapping Trump with brilliant moves and critically resolve. Canadians are sticking together. And frankly, I gotta be honest, a lot of us are happy to see so many decent Americans effectively be on our side. Like, look, Canadians were going to take this fight on whether, like, frankly, you guys supported us or not, right? But it is nice to see that millions and millions and millions of Americans, mostly Democrats, but even some Republicans have been coming out and saying, this is insane. It's bad for the economy. It's bad for American workers. It's bad for Canadian workers. It's bad for global security and the relationship between these two countries. It's just bad. It's dumb. And what you are also seeing is Trump backing down, but Canadians staying strong. Trump's already backing down. Remember we covered yesterday, Trump's like, I'm going to back down on the tariffs maybe. And we've already seen a back down on auto tariffs in particular. Right? And that's a pretty big carve out. Of course, there's lots of other things, but it indicates to me that Trump is going to keep backing down. And again, what you see are Canadians from all the political parties, from the conservative parties, from the liberal parties, from the social democratic, democratic socialist parties. They are all singing not the same tune, but a similar one. The more left-leaning parties want tariff aid in Canada to go towards the workers. The conservatives want it to go more towards the businesses. Liberals, same thing. They want it to go towards the rich and wealthy and well-connected and trickle it down to the workers. But we all agree that we need to oppose Trump, and that's what's happening.
All right, y'all. I'm moving to Canada. I ain't got nothing wrong with it, man. Man, I'm going to be like nigga because of the president. It's like, that's crazy, bro. That one person. And the president summed it up best. He said, one person, not the rest of the people that love Canada. You know what I'm saying? A lot of United States people that love Drake. You know what I'm saying? That's from Canada. You know what I'm saying? No matter where you from, other people like where you're from, and then they embrace your country and where you're from. It's supposed to be like that. We all sharing that. I made a song about money. And it's talking about the barter system, talking about the beginning of how money was, what president was on the dollar and what they did. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to hear the truth, man. I'm telling you. But hey, that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, that's y'all. That's who y'all picked. He think he is a bully, and you know what I'm saying? I love what he doing. As far as if you came over here illegal, you started killing, raping, and all that, you get caught, go home. That's cool. We go to jail when we mess up. So, but yeah, go home. I agree with that. Build a wall super strong so nobody can't really get over here and do the things that they doing, the drugs, the fentanyl, I agree with that. I agree with that. And then again, it's like to make America great again or whatever. It got to be for the Mexicans, the black people, the Latinos, the Europeans, or whoever live over here. You know what I'm saying? No matter where they was from, they live here now. But you got to get threatened to get taken back out to your country. That's scary. Just imagine me. I've been born here. But if you just gotta like go way back to be like, oh no, see, they was from Africa. Send every descendant back, period. You know what I mean? It's like, that's crazy, bro. Because that's what I thought he was talking about in the beginning. But then it said illegal. So I was like, wow, he coming in, and then he did it fast. Immediately, people went home. You finna get dropped off somewhere you don't even know where you. Nigga, hey, I'm up out of here, man. It's crazy, man. I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna protect myself till I can. You know what I mean? By all means, man. On every level, man. Stock up on your foods. You know what I'm saying? Canned goods, preferably, because the lights go off, meats will get bad. You know what I'm saying? Just regular juice. Learn how to eat fruit again. You know, learn how to grow the shit. You know what I'm saying? First of all, we got to have a spot to do it. So we just hope that he can do a great job, man. And the majority of y'all pig dogs. So he's doing a great job so far with the things that's necessary. But he's starting to fuck up, y'all. We up out of here.